My name is Robert Brandwayn. I'm from Bogota, Colombia, in South America, and I am an artist, a composer, and a language coach. My training goes, since I was 10 years old, I've taken art classes at home with different recognized artists at home. But then my university, I got a BA in Music and International Relations at the University of Pennsylvania in Philadelphia. And I took as many art courses as I could as well. So other than the music, I took art courses there. I did printmaking, oil painting, drawing with different teachers and different artists. I went to France for a semester and I did some art history courses, and I took advantage and went to every museum there. And then when I returned home, for a period of 2 or 3 years, I took different courses with different artists on things that I thought or that I felt I needed to work on. For example, figure drawing or more printmaking. And eventually I just started creating on my own. What inspires me is text, musical structures, and of course, art. The idea is to mix them all together. But since I'm a language coach as well, and I'm dealing with clients who are struggling with learning a language, for me that's very intriguing, and I always transfer that to my work. So there's always questions about how people acquire text, and I try to make that happen in my work. I also use the musical structures to construct my work. So basically that's what inspires me. A typical day in the studio is very interesting because I have a certain amount of time to work every day. Like on a day I would work 2 hours or 3 hours, or at the weekends of course I'll work 4 hours. But basically I work in series. So I start working a particular series where I decide which materials to use, what colors to use, and I start just opposing stuff. So in that sense, things start unraveling. But I work more than one series at a time. So one series feeds the other. And in terms of the language, I start deciding at a certain moment either the language is the basis for the series or it's the end of the series. Well, the exhibit is called The Power of Perception, and the way we perceive things is very important in terms like text and language is like a key element on the way we perceive things. I'm always very intrigued on the way a sentence is constructed or on the way a person uses a particular sentence. For example, this piece, which comes from a series called Fragments of a Poem, started in a very Dadaist way. I basically had a poem about a house that was being destroyed, and I destroyed the poem and I threw the pieces down, the words of the poem, I basically threw them on the floor, and then every word was basically the basis of one of the works. Yes, so I had some set of materials. In this case, I use wood and I use metal and I use bolts and paper. It's literally, it's mixed media defined here. But then this one is house, and of course, the word house was the one from the poem that appeared in this work. So, in terms of this particular series, that's the way the language was incorporated. In other series, the language is basically just a sentence that appears on the painting, or just it's the title. But that's the way it works. When I heard that, the name of the exhibit was The Power of Perception, it was a no-brainer. I said, well, Fragments of a Poem. I think a fragment of the poem has to be part of The Power of Perception. So yeah, it was an immediate thing. It was like an impulse. Art always generates a reaction, and what I found is that generally if I try to generate a reaction from the people, I always get something completely opposite. or different people get different reactions. So it's more like a dialogue. So it would be, I think I would lack humility by saying that yes, I want to generate a reaction, because I know it's going to generate a reaction anyway. So what I do is I always like to be around my paintings when there's an opening and hear what people are saying, or hear the people's comments. But in particular, no, I was not trying to generate a lot. I did not have like a thought process about, oh, I want to achieve this on people or create a controversial work. No, the people read the work in different ways, which is lovely. Well, for lack of a better word, New York is the art world mecca, and exhibiting in New York, and it's like one of the milestones in my career. I hope this is the beginning of many good things happening here in New York and in the States and through creative concepts. So, well, thank you very much for allowing me this opportunity.